stories you are about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't. I'm Dave Michaels with this week's edition of Spot Crime, where we highlight crimes reported in the CSRA. We've had 56 assaults around the CSRA. They took place on the 2600 block of Deansbridge Road, the 2000 block of the Gordon Highway, the 1400 block of Railroad Avenue, the 2400 block of Mims Road, the 3000 block of Pine Needle Road, the 2500 block of Parkway Drive, the 100 block of East Chapman Street, the 800 block of Forson Street, the 1000 block of River Ridge Road, the 200 block of Blake Drive, the 200 block of River Ridge Road, Lumpkin Road, the 200 block of Ellis Street, the 2200 block of Plantation Road, the 2500 block of Peach Orchard Road, the 2000 block of Egger Street, the 2800 block of Rocky Creek Road, the 1800 block of Fayetteville Drive, the 1900 block of Lionel Street, Raintree Place, the 300 block of Boy Scout Road, the 3500 block of Monte Carlo Drive, the 2500 block of Smoke Tree Road, the 2400 block of Nordell Drive, the 1800 block of Ellis Street, the 600 block of Sea Island Drive, Highland Avenue, the 1400 block of Kelvin Road, the 3900 block of Farrington Drive, the 3500 block of Morgan Road, the 2500 block of Milledgeville Road, the 3200 block of Alpine Road, the 2400 block of Yorkshire Drive, the 3600 block of Sedaine Drive, the 3500 block of Carter Street, the 1900 block of Division Street, the 3000 block of Breezy Hill Drive, the 3600 block of Wheeler Road, the 2300 block of Milledgeville Road, the 1800 block of Hayne Drive, the 3100 block of Alpine Road, the 3400 block of North Kensington Drive, the 2100 block of Windsor Springs Road, the 2600 block of Cranbrook Drive, the 1000 block of Orridge Avenue, the 2000 block of Bassford Drive, the 2500 block of Milledgeville Road, the 3200 block of Wrightsboro Road, the 2500 block of West Blackstone Street, the 1900 block of the Gordon Highway, the 2700 block of Tallow Tree Street, the 3200 block of Basswood Drive, the 2900 block of Jefferson Street, the 1900 block of Neptune Drive, the 100 block of Carmel Way, and the 3500 block of Oakview Place. We've had 44 burglaries around the CSRA. They took place at the 200 block of East Telfair Street, the 2000 block of McNutt Road, the 1500 block of Sandstone Lane, the 3100 block of Alpine Road, the 3200 block of Wrightsboro Road, the 4100 block of Mark Walter Road, the 3700 block of Bansbury Place, the 2300 block of Salem West Drive, the 1100 block of Troop Street, the 1700 block of Fern Street, the 3100 block of Tuxton Road, the 2500 block of Drumcliff Court, the 2800 block of Particum Road, the 100 block of Pollard Drive, the 2400 block of Damascus Road, the 1600 block of McCalkey Street, the 1500 block of Floyd Street, the 1800 block of Tubman Home Road, the 4300 block of Fairbluff Road, the 2500 block of Reese Avenue, the 1900 block of Arrowhead Drive, the 3100 block of Tuxton Road, the 1800 block of Central Avenue, the 2200 block of Darlington Drive, the 3500 block of Trudyshire Drive, the 3300 block of Milledgeville Road, the 2800 block of Lumpkin Road, the 3000 block of the Gordon Highway, the 3300 block of Burton Drive, the 2200 block of Ruby Drive, the 1800 block of Covington Place, the 2900 block of Gahad Way, the 1300 block of Bruce Street, the 200 block of East Telfair, the 400 block of East Boundary, the 2500 block of Milledgeville Road, the 700 block of Chippendale Drive, the 4300 block of Forest Road, the 4100 block of Mark Walter Road, the 1000 block of River Ridge Road, Green Street, the 4300 block of Every Street, the 3500 block of Jonathan Circle, and the 1600 block of Carpenter Street. We've had 4 robberies on the 2200 block of Windsor Springs Road, the 4600 block of the Mike Paget Highway, the 2900 block of Deans Ridge Road, and Laney Walker Boulevard. 2 cases of arson on the 1600 block of Ford Street and the 3400 block of Jonathan Circle, and 2 drug arrests on the 1500 block of Walton Way and the 3400 block of Wrightsboro Road. If you know anything about these crimes or any other crimes, call our toll-free tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS or email your tip to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you may remain anonymous and may get a cash reward. And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Now, Crime Reports and Rewards would like to take a moment to thank all you Crime Stoppers out there who have taken the worst possible bad guys off the streets of the CSRA since 2010. Because of Crime Stopper tips, you and your families are a lot safer than you were before Crime Stoppers opened in Augusta. Up to this year, Crime Stopper International tips have resulted in the arrest of 636,612 felons, cleared 984,195 cases, paid out $97,911,619 in cash rewards, recovered $1,129,241,354 worth of things that were stolen from private citizens like you, and recovered $3,010,351,475 worth of business and government things. The grand total of all things recovered by Crime Stoppers like you now stands at $4,138,452,152, making Crime Stoppers like you the most productive citizen crime stoppers of all time. So how did Crime Stoppers get started? Crime Stoppers got started when a young college student named Michael Carmen was shot to death during a robbery at an Albuquerque, New Mexico gas station in July of 1976. Detective Greg McAleese had no idea who was responsible for the killing. No witness came forward, and it appeared the senseless and brutal shotgun slaying would remain a mystery. McAleese, who worked for a newspaper before joining the Albuquerque Police Department, knew something innovative would be necessary to encourage the public to get involved and help solve the murder. He conceived the idea of producing a video reenactment of the homicide, guaranteed anonymity for anyone who was willing to call him with information, and put up a reward from his own pocket to encourage someone to provide a lead that would help identify those responsible for the murder of Carmen. It seemed almost unnecessary to take such extraordinary steps to solve the killing of Carmen. It was a case that should have outraged the community and brought forth many witnesses. Carmen was only 2 weeks away from getting married and had taken an extra shift at the gas station to give a coworker the night off. When police responded to an emergency call, they found Carmen gravely wounded. He had been shot in the abdomen at point-blank range with a 12-gauge shotgun. The medical staff kept him alive for 4 hours, and during that time he tried to tell detectives who was responsible, but he just didn't have the strength to form the words. At that time, Albuquerque had one of the highest per capita crime rates in the country, and people were afraid to help the police. McAleese's plan to identify those responsible for killing Carmen worked. Within a few hours after the recreation of the murder was broadcast on television, station KOAT, he received a phone call. The video image had triggered the memory of a person who heard a loud bang in the vicinity of the gas bar and then saw a car driving off. The caller told McAleese the vehicle belonged to a resident in a nearby apartment complex. Through investigation, McAleese and a team of detectives arrested 2 men within 72 hours and charged them with the murder of Carmen and a string of armed robberies. McAleese received other calls following the reenactment, including one that allowed police to solve the rape of a young woman. Realizing that this type of program might be useful in fighting crime, McAleese convinced the Albuquerque Police Department to allow a group of citizens to establish the first Crime Stoppers program. For his efforts, Detective McAleese was named one of the people in the 70s who changed the face of the United States and was also named the country's Police Officer of the Year. It's interesting to note that since adopting Crime Stoppers, Albuquerque's crime rate has dropped significantly and is no longer ranked in the list of 20 cities with the highest per capita crime rate. The same thing is happening in Augusta since Crime Stoppers began here in 2010. Now, Crime Stoppers is sponsoring the Richmond County Sheriff's Office Deputy of the Year. Crime Stoppers will give this year's Richmond County Sheriff's Office Deputy of the Year 2 tickets worth $250 to Sheriff Roundtree's annual gala. Go to our Augusta Crime Stoppers page and nominate your deputy for Richmond County Sheriff's Office Deputy of the Year. Then stay tuned to our Facebook page or Crime Reports to see who won Crime Stoppers Richmond County Sheriff's Office Deputy of the Year.
Crime Stoppers, call it in, call it in, call it in, call it in. With Crime Stoppers, call it in, call it in, call it in, call it in. With Crime Stoppers, call it in, call it in, call it in, call it in. With Crime Stoppers, call it in, call it in, call it in, call it in.
Crime Reports and Rewards and Augusta Crime Stoppers would like to wish you a happy and prosperous New Year.
On Sunday, December 15th at approximately 3:29 a.m., a burglary occurred at Sonny's Food Store located at 2849 Lumpkin Road. Taken in the burglary was a 12-gauge shotgun, a .22 Smith & Wesson revolver, lottery tickets, and an unknown amount of Black and Mild cigars. The subjects appeared to be wearing surgical gloves. Please tell everyone you know to go to Facebook and search for Augusta Crime Stoppers. Then have them study the pictures of the burglars carefully. When bad guys like this steal guns like these, someone could get killed at any moment. Your tip could stop someone from being killed or worse. So let us know if you have any suspects. If you think you know who did this burglary, please call investigator Calvin Chu at 706-821-1080, Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
There it is. The holy grail of Christmas gifts, the Red Ryder 200-shot range model air rifle.
Now our latest Christmas present from the
You'll
government.
shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
In New Jersey, an unregistered BB gun could mean jail time. That's right, a BB gun. That iconic, much-desired gift from the movie A Christmas Story. Apparently, the government is just as deeply concerned about the potential of someone putting an eye out with a BB gun as Ralphie's mom. If your child were to leave his BB gun in your car when you go to Jersey, you may be jailed there for having it. They are so concerned that if you don't register your air gun, pellet gun, or BB gun, you could go directly to jail. Do not stop, do not pass, do not collect $200. The Graves Act is the primary statute that forms the spine of New Jersey's oppressive gun laws. It requires a minimum term of imprisonment and ineligibility for the violation of gun laws, even for the first-time offenders. Children are not exempt. They too are subject to strict punishment under the harsh gun laws that are coming. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office reports an Augusta woman is recovering from a home invasion after two males broke into her home on Windsor Springs Road, ripped her stuff apart looking for valuables, forced her to take off her shirt, and then tied her up before getting away. The victim reports that she thought she was really going to die. She tells police and the press that two men kicked in her door and stormed into her house. At first she thought it was just her brother or dad, but soon learned that wasn't the case. She reported that she was getting up to check what the noise was about, but before she could get out of bed, they had come in her room with the gun. She says the first thing they did was go for the guns hidden above her shipper robe, breaking the piece of furniture below it. With weapons in her face, she says they started making demands. He pointed at me and told me, "Don't move," and demanded cash. As she feared for her life, they went room to room as the men searched for items to steal. She says, "I was shocked. It's scary because the whole time he was taking me around, he kept telling me I was lying about not having any cash, and he told me he was going to kill me if I didn't stop lying to him." Eventually, they realized she wasn't lying and decided it was time to leave, but not before the suspects made sure she couldn't follow them. "I had a clothes hamper here, and they just grabbed some shirts. I think it was some long-sleeve shirts, and they tied my arms and then tied up my legs," she said. The incident report also states that they made her remove her shirt, lay down on the bed, and push the gun to her head, threatening her life several times. It's a traumatic memory still fresh in her mind that's now turning into a warning for others. "At this point, I think they've been watching me. I think they kind of knew my routine, so especially around this time of the year, just kind of vary things up a little bit," she suggested. One suspect was wearing a nylon stocking over his head, the other a bandana covering his face. Deputies say they escaped with 3 guns, including a shotgun, some jewelry, and several electronics. If you don't have a reinforced door and you've been the victim of a home invasion, Crime Stoppers wants to reinforce your door so home invaders can't so easily kick down your door and violate you again. If you think you know who or where these two well-armed, mean, and nasty home invaders may be, please call Major Scott Peoples at 706-821-1080, Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid. A Columbia County man says a Grinch stole some Christmas presents delivered to him off his front porch. He says, "All this week I've been getting packages. Last week 2 packages were delivered to his door and they disappeared." He says he filed a police report, but the Columbia County Sheriff's Office says they did not receive a report from Bobby Hankerson about this theft. Hankerson is quoted as saying that whoever the Grinch was, they made off with hundreds of dollars in Paul Frederick designer men's clothing. He says he confirmed that the packages were delivered at 2:45 p.m. Hankerson says 2 neighbors were watching when the FedEx delivery truck pulled into his driveway. "My neighbor said that she saw the truck coming to drop off the packages, and then it rode up the street a couple of times, came back, and parked in the driveway. When FedEx was contacted, a media representative told us that there were law enforcement reports of a van following a FedEx truck in the Augusta area. However, local authorities say they had no report of such an incident." Meanwhile, Hankerson says he hopes the Grinch that tried to steal his joy gets caught. "It's always bad when someone comes in and takes something belonging to someone else," says Hankerson. If you know where this thieving Grinch may be found, please call Captain Steve Morris of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office or any other investigator at 706-541-4050. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid. Waynesboro police are looking for 2 black males they say robbed a Waynesboro bank Monday. The Waynesboro Police Department is asking for your help in finding 2 armed bank robbers. According to police, one of them is 22-year-old Damian Bernard Osborne. Police also released a sketch of the second unidentified black male wanted in the robbery that you now see on your screen. The black males you see are suspected of robbing the Southern Bank branch on Liberty Street just before noon Monday. A man believed to be Osborne and another man wore masks and gloves and had guns when they robbed the bank. They took off on foot and are said to be driving an older black BMW with South Carolina license tags. Osborne, also known as Slick, was last known to be at 3305 Knight Paget Highway in Augusta. If you think you know where either one of these suspected bank robbers may be, or you know the identity of the other robber, please call the Waynesboro Police Department at 706-554-8029 or Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and the criminals don't, and you get paid.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
And now for a story by WJBF reporter Mike Miller on Richmond County residents who graduated from the Citizens Police Academy. The program got started earlier this year to bridge the gap between the community and law enforcement. This is the second graduating class of Richmond County Citizens Police Academy. The first class graduated in May. The program gives citizens a better understanding of law enforcement and also promotes teamwork between the sheriff's office and citizens. I was quoted as saying, "The CSI class was fascinating because we saw how the CSIs really work, and we met the CSIs that actually do it. So we learned how to take better fingerprints and find all kinds of clues." Over the weekend, the students learned how to fire weapons and also learned how the bomb squad works. I was quoted as saying those parts of the program are fun to learn, but the most important part is building a relationship with local law enforcement. They want us to tell as many people as we can how the police work, what the police need, and why they do what they do. Several students say that in Richmond County there is a misconception about police officers, but they're hoping that will change. Citizens Police Academy graduate Ronaldo Wolfuk said, "You know, a lot of kids are running from the cops just because they showed up. A lot of times they just want to talk to them or just come up and say hello. But when they run, and then when you run, the cops are going to chase you." Since taking office in January, Sheriff Richard Roundtree has been promoting community policing. He also expects his deputies to have one-on-one contact with residents. So far this year, crime numbers are down in several different categories, so some people say the program is working. It seems to be working out very well, especially when we have the graduates go back into the community and they tell their friends and their families about their experiences, and invite them to come and join so they too can have a better understanding and appreciation for what we do as deputies, Captain Wendy George said. The next Citizens Police Academy is scheduled in March. If you're interested in the program, you can apply by going to the Sheriff's Office.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology and AugustaCrimeStoppers.org are researching software to recognize a person's walk or movements. Results indicate these new identification methods hold promise as tools to stop crime by identifying suspects from surveillance video that is too blurry or far away to see a face. Gait or movement recognition technology are biometric methods, that is, unique biological or behavioral identification characteristics such as a fingerprint or a face. With movement recognition technology, every part of the body can be covered, but the person is still ID'd by their movements. At Georgia Tech, one study is addressing issues of gait recognition by computer vision. Another is exploring a novel approach to gait recognition with a radar system similar to those used by police officers to catch speeders. Augusta Crime Stoppers is looking at adapting existing software that measures movements within a matrix to figure an identification that may hold up in court right off of raw surveillance video. The ultimate goal is to detect, classify, and identify suspects at great distances, day or night. Such capabilities can catch criminals, enhance the protection of U.S. forces, and stop terror attacks. Gait recognition by radar focuses on the gait cycle formed by the movements of a person's various body parts over time. Researchers correctly identified 80 to 95% of test subjects. The next step is to build a more powerful radar system and test it in the lab and then the field. Researchers are now building a radar system that can identify people from 500 feet or more. Augusta Crime Stoppers' movement recognition method doesn't require a radar gun, just video of any unsolved crimes. We think our method being pioneered right here in Augusta with your support will be more useful, as our method only requires already existing video. If you have any video of an unsolved crime, please post it on the Augusta Crime Stoppers Facebook page or contact us so we can get it on the show as soon as possible. If your video results in a violent criminal being taken off the streets, then you can get a cash reward. Columbia County Sheriff's Office Captain Steve Morris reports a younger white male stole the tip jar and cash off the sushi bar at Toki Restaurant on Washington Road in Evans. When we posted it on our Augusta Crime Stoppers Facebook page, Ivy Yankee Gray wrote, "Wow, that's where my daughter works." Then her daughter, Fallon Yankee, wrote, "Thank you for posting this. The man whose money he stole works very hard. If you know who or where this white male may be, please call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office at 706-541-4050 or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid."
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
On May 18th at approximately 3 p.m., dispatch issued a bolo for a white Honda Civic that was occupied by 3 black males. The suspects were wanted for a robbery and shooting that had just occurred in Beach Island. Upon learning that the vehicle was in the Delta Manor neighborhood, Lieutenant Jimmy Wilds responded to and saturated the neighborhood with deputies from A South. Within 4 minutes, Deputy Langford spotted the vehicle, and upon the initiation of a traffic stop, the 2 passengers in the vehicle fled on foot as Deputy Langford took the driver into custody. Once Deputy Langford advised of the situation, a perimeter was immediately set up. Deputies Capitosti and Beasley began a building-by-building search and were able to locate and arrest a second suspect that was hiding in an abandoned shed on Green Street. Deputy Ashmore located the weapon that was used in the robbery and shooting and $975 in cash that was taken during the robbery. Due to the quick actions of everyone involved, 2 of the 3 suspects were quickly apprehended after being involved in an armed robbery that resulted in a homicide. Lieutenant Jimmy Wilds, who's not in the photo, Deputy Thomas Langford, Deputy Robin Ashmore, Deputy Todd Beasley, Deputy Wes Stallings, Deputy Brad Capitosti were each awarded a certificate of appreciation, letter, and gift card from Chief Patrick Clayton. If you see these deputies, tell them Augusta Crime Stoppers salutes them for their hard work. Good job, everybody. Thank you for being the best.
You've been watching Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't. If you have any information on these or any other crimes, call our national tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, you'll stay anonymous and could get a cash reward. You can see this or any other episode of Crime Reports and Rewards on the web anytime at crimereportsandrewards.com. Crime Reports and Rewards is a production of Michaels Media.